Hello everybody, this is Jonathan and today I'll be showing you guys how to install Visopsys operating system. So Visopsys is an alternative operating system for PC compatible computers in development since 1997. This system is smart, fast and open source. It features a simple but functional graphical user interface, pre-MP5 multitasking and photo memory, though it attempts to be compatible in a number of ways. Visopsys is not a clone of any other operating system. You can demo for distribution from a live USB stick, CD, DVD or floppy disk. And over here it just shows up some features. It's a small and fast graphical user interface, fully multitasking, 100% protected mode and open source and free software. So to install it, click on this button over there and click onto the ISO image, and then you guys can write it to a USB drive, or you guys can install it to a virtual machine, and I already have it set up as you guys can see, so it's working just fine. Now click on the start button and we should be able to boot up to the operating system. By the way, make sure that the ISO and the disk is in the IDE, because if it's in for SATA it's not going to work. So guys, I will show you guys. So if we go to machine settings, make sure that all of the stuff is in within IDE. Make sure it's not in SATA, because otherwise we will get an error on the actual system. So if I just close out of this, if I now just click onto the install button, then this will allow me to go ahead and install it. Over here we'll tell you which drive we want to use, so I can just click onto OK as this is the drive I want to use. Please choose a partition on one of which to install. You guys can just click onto partition disks. I'll just delete it, so I'm going to click onto the delete all button to delete all the partitions. Make sure to do backup with data before do anything here. Okay, now I'm going to click onto empty space. I'll click onto create, and now you guys can click onto OK, because by default it's fine. And now you guys can choose the supported partition types. So I'll just go all the way down till I find something related to something I used before. I'll click onto Linux. Linux is fine. Click onto OK. Select, and now this is how much space it will use up. So now you guys can click onto the format button. The partition cannot be formatted. Right. Okay, I need to write changes. Click onto OK. Now you guys can click onto format. I'll format to be maybe ext2. Okay. Okay, cool. So it's writing block group. So right now it's formatting for drive. We were able to create a partition, we were able to write some changes, and we'll be able to format it as well. If you guys really want to do that, you guys can also do defrag with it, you guys can do move, you guys can click onto info and resize, so we can resize partitions, which is pretty cool. So it has a very nice disk manager as well, because it's just very easy to use. It's something similar to Linux that we would get when it comes to setting up partitions. So you guys can have like dual boot options, which is quite hard to do in this operating system actually. But you guys can do dual booting, so you can have like Windows with Visopsys, and it should work fine if you guys want to do that. Okay, it's finishing formatting. Format complete. Click onto OK, and now it has been formatted. Okay, so I think that's about it really. Now guys can click onto the X button to close out of it, and now click onto a partition that you guys want to use. Click onto OK. Now what you guys can choose is from basic install, and you guys can also choose full install, and you guys can format HDAO, so it erases all data. You guys can choose file system type, but I will just keep everything by default. You guys can click onto language, and this will allow you to change your language by just selecting for flag. So for example, if you want to change it to Russian, just change the Russian flag. And I think this is Turkish flag, this is German, and this is Spain. I'm just going to click on to cancel. And now if you guys just want to install, just click on this install button, and it should allow you to start installing it. Click onto OK. So yeah, it's going to start installing the system to your hard drive. Now I have to create a password, 123. Password do not match, 123. Installation successfully. Okay, cool. So I guess I can now go ahead and reboot, and hopefully it does reboot. This photo machine failed to boot. This could be created host by missing operating system or misconfigured boot options. I may need to bootable medium found. If I just close out of this, whatever powerful machine, if I now go all the way to settings, if I now select the system, go back to storage. If I now, for example, if I was, okay, it's gone now. Cool. Now if I make this one into the primary one, maybe it might work now. I'm not completely sure, but this is how I'm going to be able to install it. Okay, it was unable to be installed. So, okay, I see now. Let me go back to Visopsys, and once you click onto mount and retry, I'm going to show you guys the installed system. Okay, so basically, once you be able to install it, what you guys can now do is click onto continue, and then we are running the system for read-only systemized, and now as you guys can see, this is the entire desktop. Let me just close out of this, and now as you guys can see, once you're able to get it installed, we should see something like this. So you guys can click onto window, exit. Exit will allow it to log out and shut down. We just need to click onto these buttons. You guys can click onto computer, and then from here, this is the hard drive. Okay, it does look like there's stuff within it, but I don't know why it's not booting up to it. So it does seem like it was able to be installed with the hard drive. Okay, that's a bit weird. Let me just close out of it. Let me close out of that one. And then what you guys can now do is go to the file browser. This allows you to go to HDO, and then you guys can click onto the files that we've got within here, so that's pretty nice. You guys can click onto file, quit. You guys can go ahead and refresh. So this refreshes the window. Okay, it has a bit of a glitch on it. And you guys can open up applications on here as well. So there's some applications that it does come with, and there's some clock application as well, which just shows up the clock over there. There's also programs, rename, and there's also zip, wget. There's also users, which is the admin. Okay. I want to exit from here. Okay, so if we go back to file browser, here we can click onto the programs, and over here should list out some programs that you guys can use. So yeah, this is how come I was able to get there. But you guys can click onto back to go back up one. Okay, we need to click it one time, by the way. And yeah, there's not really much to it. You guys can just open up a folder that I want to go to, and then you guys can click onto up to go back where we were previously. So it's a very simple file browser, nothing advanced to it. That sounds pretty nice. And I think that programs also should show up some programs as well that you guys can use. So for example, there is a Snake game. So if I click on Snake, it should allow me to play some Snake. It's a bit laggy though, but I'm running this inside of a photo machine, so yeah. We can expect to be a bit laggy. Click onto OK. There's also have mines, like that Minecraft. I don't know what I'm talking about. Why I'm talking about Minecraft. I'm meant to say like. It's like for Windows Mines game that the guys probably heard of before. It is a very old game where we've got to click one of these boxes and make sure we don't hit a bomb, but sometimes we may hit a bomb, and I'm very bad at the game. I never actually were able to complete it. And there's also a photo keyboard as well, which shows up this keyboard. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how to exit from it though. Yeah, there is a keyboard over there. I keep on double clicking stuff. Okay. They also have a simple text editor as well, so you can go to file, open new, save as, and quit. So I can write down a random text file. I can now click onto the save as button, and I can save it where I want to save it to. So I can save it to users. Let me go to users. Over here is fine. And now if I try to get rid of all of that, then there should be a way to save it. I click onto save, but the save is not working. So I don't know why, but I saved it over here, didn't I not? I know I have to give it a name. I will call this one hello.txt. If I click onto OK, could not save file in a read-only file system. Okay, so we can only read it, but it's very simple text editor. By clicking over there, we can open up, we can create a new document by clicking onto new, discard, and you guys can click onto save to save it, and you guys can click onto save as to choose where you want to save it to, and you guys can click onto quit to quit out the application, like so. What does view allows you to do? If I click onto programs maybe, and if I do that one, okay. Okay, so it has to be an EL5 file. Okay, so that's something interesting. What is network? This is allowed to change network settings, enter the route, remote access. Okay, so you guys can access the network. It's a bit more technical, but it's pretty cool. You guys can also take screenshots, so enter the file name to use. Okay, I'm gonna just enter like txtRIGT. Saving screenshot as system could not save a screenshot. I'm sure it could have been nice. Yeah, okay, it's in the read for only file system, so it's not gonna work. But there's also a image editor as well, which I would assume to be very simple to use. Yeah, it's not opening. But over here is the file browser as well. There's also a computer. I do believe this allows you to see all of the computers there are, so you guys can click over there, and you guys can click onto programs, and then you guys can access system. Okay, so it has been installed to my hard drive, but I don't know why I can't boot up to it. This seems a bit odd to me. Okay, I'm going to close out of it by doing that. I'll click onto X, and I'll click onto the command window, which is basically the command line. You guys can do ls, and you guys can just do like users as well. So if I just write down users, okay, pretty cool. If I do ls, I can now list out the directories. Does Neofetch support? What about Vim? Is Vim supported? What about what is the other one? Nano. Does Nano support? No, it doesn't. Okay. So there might be some terminal-based tools you guys can use within the command window, but I'll do that type of videos in the future. There's also calendar as well. Okay, that's a very simple calendar. I won't be able to add in some events, I don't think. So if you just click onto one of them, it doesn't do anything. But you guys can change the month, and you guys can change the year as well. So that's pretty cool. Close out of it. You guys can also click onto calculator, which allows you to use a basic calculator, as you guys can see. It does have some advanced stuff to it, for example mod, dec, power, square root, n. But if you guys need to use these features, then it's available. There's also A, B, C, D, E, F, G, which I don't know what that means. I thought this is mathematics. Okay, that's not very good. How do I clear it? Is it C? Okay, C is to clear it. So if you do 1 plus 1, that's gonna be equal to 55. I'm gonna have to close out of it. It's not very nice. I wish it would show up the equation at least. But if I do 7 plus 1, if I now do equal, it should equal to 8. So that's pretty cool. So that's basically a very simple calculator. I'm gonna close out of it. And there's also Achievement Manager as well, which allows you to extract and create new zip files as well, and be able to open them, add and delete zip files. So this allows you to extract zip files and to create a new zip file, basically. It's a very simple Achievement Manager, which I won't be able to show you guys. Yeah, basically there's no web browser to it. If I click onto Administrator, I do believe from here you guys can change a few settings. For example, you guys can go to the Program Manager, and it just shows up these stuff that I do believe is running in the background, so you guys can run program, you guys can set priority, you guys can kill processes as well. So yeah, you guys can just kill anything if you wanted to, which I have killed all of that, so I'm going to have to reboot, because I'm really silly. Okay, I'm back up here, so this is the administrator. Can I be able to, okay, software, I do believe this will allow you to get to be able to install packages, right? Okay, available packages, install packages, available packages. It doesn't show up anything, so I may have to exit from there. There's also system diagnosis as well. So read write. Let's do a test on it. Okay, it's testing out the performance read and write test as well. So it's testing the disk sectors. I'm going to cancel out of that. Test cancelled, 0 errors. Or read only is faster, going to take the data safe, however it is less full. A read write test takes longer and is more thought, but can potentially cause some data loss if the disk is failing. Dun dun dun. And you guys can also do memory test if you wanted to, which is pretty useful. Okay. There's also user management, and I do think through there we'll be able to add users, we can delete users, we can set a password, and we guys can set a language for the user. So that's pretty useful. There's also install Visopsys, which allows you to install the operating system, which we went through earlier, but this allows you to install it in that way to do it. So you guys don't have to. So you guys can basically boot up and still be able to test out the system while trying to install it. Over here is the font editor. So okay, we'll be able to edit fonts. It looks like that's pretty cool. This guy, I don't want to update it. But there's many fonts that it does support. Here's Arial, here's Lib Mono and Normal, and here's Xterm Normal. It looks like you guys can just update the entire font if you truly wanted to. So you guys can change the letters, which is pretty cool. But I don't see a point in that. Okay, let me close out that. There's also file systems, which shows up all of the file systems, so all of the hard drives and stuff, as well as the partitions. I do believe it should show up, like RAM disk and IDE, ADATA, DVD. I'm just going to click on to quit out that. There's also console window, which we went through. There's also devices. So these are the devices that we currently got in the system. So we got memory, and this is BIOS because it only works on a 32-bit operating system. Over there is my my CPU. Over there is my 30-box multiprocessor. But this is quite cool. You guys can just see your system device. So for example, we just show up what CPU you're running, real-time clock, as well as DMA controller, system tracker. You guys can look at the APIC interrupter console. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to close out that. Yep, like so. And now what you guys can now do is Disk Manager allows, yeah, we went through that earlier, didn't we? Display settings allows you to just change the display. So for example, if I was to change, okay, I don't think I can click on one of these for some random reason. Okay, you guys can change the color as well. So if I click on to change, it should allow me to just, okay, you guys have to use the red, green and blue values to change it. If I click on to OK, if I click on to OK again, okay, that seems like it did change the system. Okay, this is colors within the system. Okay, cool. So you guys can just change the font colors and stuff like that. If I was to change it to something like maybe a dark yellowish color, then it should be a lot easier to see. Actually, it's very bright. But yeah, it's very cool. I'm going to go back to display settings because I've accidentally exited. Now you guys can also change the background color by clicking on this change button. I'll just change this one to being maybe different color, should I? Yeah. So that was easier for you guys to see. So it already comes with more customizations than it would do on Windows. Okay, I've opened up too many windows. Okay, so if you want to change the background wallpaper, just click on to choose, and this will allow you to choose which wallpaper you want to use. So for example, I can choose wave.jpg, and okay, if we disable that, it should just use some form of color to it. But I want to change the wallpaper to wave.jpg, so we can actually add a wallpaper. And now if I click on to OK, this is allow me to change it. Background wallpaper, I want to change to the wave.jpg. If I click on to OK, should I click on the desktop? Use background. If I do wave.jpg, if I click on to OK, it doesn't seem like it worked. So I don't know why it didn't work. Okay. This seems like a good operating system. It does have some issues with it though. I was unable to actually install it. I was trying to do it loads of times. Maybe I'm making a mistake, but I'm pretty sure this is how we'll be able to install it. Now if I click onto the configuration editor, I do believe this allows you to update some config files. So if I click on to OK, as you guys can see, this shows up some coding to it. You guys can add in variables, you guys can change variables, and we can delete variables. So these are just basically the admin tools for the admin to make some changes to them. You guys can click on to keyboard map as well to change the language, and you guys can just save it and set as default. There's many languages. There's also Bulgarian, there's Detach. There should be also Russian as well, so you guys can see we also have a Russian keyboard. So that's pretty cool. And you guys can also choose Turkish as well, and you guys can set as default, or you guys can just save it. If I do save it, then this should apply the new keyboard to it, right? If I click on to OK, hold on, that didn't work. If I set this one as default, okay, so now I'm using a Turkish keyboard, or you guys can use a Russian keyboard if you wanted to, and this should just help you set this one as our keyboard. If I click on to close, I think that's basically it really with the administrator. I'm going to have to reboot. Can I write down reboot? Oh no, this is Russian now. But once I do reboot, it should change back to English because this is only a read-only file system, so I won't be able to make permanent changes to it because I did try to install it but it didn't work. Okay, so once you're in, click on to continue. And also, before I do that, you guys can change language over there, and you guys can change to being English, you guys can change for Russian and all that. And you guys can click on to don't ask me again, so that way we never see the screen ever again. But this won't work because this is a live ISO. So click on to OK, click on to continue, and then from here we should be able to select some more applications. So if I go back to Administrator, we went through all of that. We also went through the programs, haven't we? Unless there's one that we may have skipped. But I think we went through them all. But we couldn't get the image editor to work unless we try to open up an image. So if I go to Programs, maybe if I go to System, Up, go to Programs. Programs will not display anything like that on it. But this is an image editor, so allow it to change some image, to be able to update the images and stuff. There should be a way to actually, maybe there might be some stuff over here to update. So there's temporary as well, temporary files will go. If I click onto programs again, then hopefully there should be some way to help files. This is help files, cool. Disk, ping, RAM disk, wallpaper. This allows you to change wallpaper, isn't it, this application? But this should allow you to do some images editing if we truly wanted to. Which I seem can't get working because I don't really have any images to get working with, but it should allow it to update the images and do some imaging editing as well. There's not really any web browsers, it just comes with these utilities by the way. So yeah. And you guys can go back to the exit button. Window doesn't do anything. I think what Window does is that I should be able to display what program I'm currently running. So if I go back to program, if I click on Snake, oh no it doesn't, okay, it just shows this window. Okay. So now if I want to exit, just click on the X button, and we should be able to log out and shut down. There's no way of actually being able to reboot. So we can either log out by clicking on to log out, and you guys can just type down admin, and that should take you back, and that should allow you to log in, right, because with the admin. So if I click on to reboot, you guys can also shut down if you wanted to, by entering the username. Okay, if I now click on to continue, click on to OK, and now from here I can go to exit. You guys can click on to shut down, and you guys can reboot and shut down from here, and we can eject the CD-ROM. What I'm going to do is click onto the shutdown button, and it's shutting down Visopsys, and now it looks like it has shut down successfully. So this video was about an introduction to Visopsys, me being able to try to install it. I would end up calling this one Introduction to Visopsys, and how great of an operating system it is. It's very good. The only problem I had was trying to install it, and this caused some issues. So for example, I wouldn't be able to save any files because this is only in the I can read only file system. I'm doing this inside a photo box. There might be a problem with photo box, but I was unable to install it. But this is how you guys should be able to install it anyways. And we should be able to use the utilities as normal if we were trying to install this on a normal desktop PC, or if we're using some other software, it might be able to install it properly. But it has to be in IDE hard drive, and it has to be within the controller IDE within the box. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So, for example, if I was to make this ISO, hold on, this one doesn't work. I can just remove it. But if I was to move that one to SATA, it's going to display an error and it won't boot up. It has to be an IDE controller. So if I try to boot up, it will display an error, right? Yeah. Either -13 detecting BIOS system devices, it does not boot up. It shows up an error message and it just freezes there. So if you guys want to fix it, just make sure that we'll have the Visopsys ISO within the IDE, like so. You can just drag it to the IDE controller, click onto OK, and hopefully now it does boot up again. So yeah, make sure it's in the IDE controller to get it working. Yeah, okay. Anyway guys, if you like this video, please put a like and please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.